Hi, my name is Vera Morgan, and I'm calling to leave a message for the officer who's investigating Prince's death. Can you please give me a call at 952-451-7197? Again, the number is 952-451-7197. I wanted to speak to one of the with the Sheriff's Department in regards to a concern I have regarding Prince's her personal assistant. Her name is Marone. Please give me a call. Again, my number is 952-451-7197. Thank you. Bye. Hi, this is Vera Morgan. I left a message for you yesterday. This is regarding the investigation that you're heading up for regarding Prince's death. Can you please give me a call? My number is 952-451-7197, and I wanted to speak to you regarding a concern I have regarding Prince's personal assistant. Her name is Marone. Please call me. I think it's rather important. Thank you. Bye.
Investigations, Chris.
Hi, Chris, this is Vera Morgan calling. I don't know if you remember, you talked to me a few months ago regarding investigation on Prince's death.
Yep.
Okay, so there's some additional information that I obtained that I want to provide you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on, let me get a notebook, Vera.
Okay.
Is this still about the CDs and stuff with Marone? Or something different?
No. The Marone piece is, but it's something in addition to that also adds to the more details on the situation.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the timeline on Prince's death is supposed to be that he was allegedly out at 8 p.m., whatever, the night before he died, etc. And then he died supposedly or was found that following morning. Well, anyway, I was at an event where they were doing in Minneapolis a fashion thing, and one of the people, her name is Gwen Leeds, Leeds, who used to work for Prince years ago, and she's still very close friends with Kirk, who was, Prince's, quote, manager of Paisley and supposed best friend, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was talking with her, and I said, well, because she first heard me, I guess, saying some names of people that wouldn't know, the only people that would know Prince would know, and then she asked who I was. I said, well, my name is Vera, and then she says that she looks up in the air, and she says, oh, that's like, I do remember you. You did know him, blah, blah, blah. So as I was talking to her, and I was saying, it's apparent to me that Prince was killed. This was not any accident. And so she gives me this look. I said, he wasn't on drugs, etc. And so I said, and the timeline of when he supposedly went to these doctors, and then somebody calling up a doctor in California. Why would you call a doctor in California when you have a local doctor you could call and get immediate response? And I said, it's obvious that when they called the doctor, and before I could finish the sentence, she finished it for me and said he was already dead. So she's close with Kirk, and then she said, I said, yeah, exactly. She says, and then she pulls me off to the side and says, be very careful who you say that around. Okay?
Okay.
And so at that point, it was very obvious that he had died the night before, which is obvious in the timeline. Whoever called California claimed like they're acting like they're supposedly trying to save him, either knew he was already dead or dying and let him die, or killed him, and that was just their way to cover up the timeline. But it's apparent that that's what happened. And the other, so I'll let you finish writing down that first.
Okay, thanks.
I know I talked too fast. Okay.
Okay, go on. The next part.
Okay, so then the next part was, so then when I went up to Paisley, after very months, to finally be able to go back up there again. I went up there on like a, for their Saturday movie night thing they have, at Paisley Park After Dark. So when I'm at the front desk, and I'm talking to a couple of the people that are working at it, previously worked for him before he died. And so they know my face from being there, whatever. And I was, while waiting to go in for the tour, and I think I was only one of the few standing there, I said to them, I said, well, you know he was killed. And they just said, well, like, in other words, they're not going, And so then they make this comment about, well, it's this whole thing is set up, it's all about the money. I said, obviously. So when I'm standing there talking to them, one of the tour people that works there, I don't know his name. He's Asian, has his hair pulled back, and when you come in the front entrance for the tours, he's usually the guy there, at least on Saturday nights anyway. So he says to me, she says, from what I understand, the night, and here's the key, the night he died, Judith Hill was there. So she keeps trying to say that she wasn't in town when he died, but according to this person who was there working there at Paisley, that she was there the night he died. And the key is the night he died, not the morning he died. So that, again, ties it into him dying the night before, not that morning.
Okay.
Okay, and then here's the other last thing. So then when I went over and I was standing at Paisley that night and just waiting for the movie thing to start, Kirk, who knows me, come over and says, hey, Vera, how are you doing? I said, I'm not doing too good. I'll be doing better when all these people that were involved with Prince's death are arrested, right, and in jail. That's when I will celebrate. So then he says, he looks at me and goes, and just kind of pauses, go, Vera, we're trying to be positive and look forward. I said, so you're telling me that someone being arrested for his death is not a positive thing? I would think the only person who would think that's negative is a person who had something to do with it. And I gave him this look. Okay? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's my additional information to give you. And then again, even some of his security people up there were saying, when I said the thing about it's apparent that there's more to this, and again would say to me, be careful. Here you go again. Be careful who you say that around. Now, if there's nothing to issue or nothing to hide, why would I need to be worried about who I say that around?
I don't know.
No, I'm just...
Okay.
Yeah.
So this, when was this time that you went to Paisley? Just like for the movie night, was that like...
That was on... Hold on. That was when I went on the Sign of the Times night, but then I went the following Saturday after that. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Let's see, I left to go out of town on the 22nd. They had that on... I think it was on December 17th, or it could have been the 10th, but it was... actually it was on the 17th because there was a Sign of the Times one that they had, and then the next one they had was the one when he did the movie that they played was the concert from Australia, Brisbane, Australia concert. So that was on the 17th of December before I left to go out of town to visit my family for the when I was off from work.
Okay.
For the holiday.
So during that night, Kirk came up and said, hey, Vera, and how you doing, kind of thing. And that's when you kind of said, I will celebrate when everyone who was involved in Prince's death will kind of be arrested. And he kind of gave you a look and said, we're trying to be positive.
Yeah, and move forward. And I said to him, why wouldn't that be a positive thing, unless you're one of the people being arrested?
And what did he say about that?
He just gave me this look and just said, and he gave me this look, and then one of the other security bodyguards that knows me comes over and looks at me. He goes, Vera, are you okay? I said, I'll be okay. And then Kirk says, see, he's even asking if you're okay. I said, Kirk, don't go there. I said, and I said, you know the situation. I said, don't even go there. And I did like a, hand snap kind of thing at him. Mm-hmm. And at that point, but it was apparent that, he didn't like the fact that I said I'll be happy when the people that are involved with Prince's death are arrested and in jail. That's when I'll be okay. Okay,
and he just kind of gave you kind of a look like, why are you saying that?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Do you know of any of the bodyguards that were there other than Kirk ever? Or did you ever have any contact?
Yeah, Yeah, there's two other bodyguards there that know me from sight. I think one of them is named, I can't remember if it's Romeo. I know them when I see them, but I don't know them by their first name. So there were two other security bodyguards that were there that were Prince's bodyguards when he was living and that are still working there. I think one of them may be Kirk's nephew, I'm not sure. And then there's a second one. So I know them when I see them, but I can't place their names right now.
Okay. If I said their name, would you know if it's that or not?
I don't know. I can't say for sure. Okay. One of them may be Romeo, but I'm not sure. So that okay. I will probably be going back there tomorrow when they do this other concert thing, and I'll just casually confirm his name. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the latest, and I just feel that there's so much going on behind the scenes, and I don't understand why people are saying, a minimum 2-3 people say to me that are connected with this thing, going, be careful who you say that around. I mean, what? Really?
Yeah. Well, I can't comment on any of
I know. I'm just providing my information.
I appreciate it, Vera. So, okay, well, I will make a note of this, and I guess if there's something else that happens, or if you see or hear anything, always feel free to give me a call.
Okay. Thanks,
all
Chris.
Right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hi, Vera.
Yes.
Detective Chris Wagner. I got a message to give you a call. I spoke with you last year, and you had called.
Right. Okay, some additional information. Yeah, I wanted to give you some additional information. Okay. I think I told you already the other prior things previously about 2 to 3 months prior to Prince's death, how his sister Tyka and her husband appeared to be trying to press him to sign some documentation. Yep. I told you about that.
Yep.
Okay. So then when I went up to Paisley that December of 2016, there were 3-4 people that were sitting together, and the conversation appeared to be a little suspicious. It was, so Omar Baker, Prince's half-brother, his wife, I think her first name she goes by Virginia, but she also uses sometimes an online name. I think her last name is also now Baker. She was there sitting with, and let me get the name correctly spelled, Ursula Marie Love, and Ursula has known Prince, or knew Prince, even went to school with him, and her husband's name is Mark.
Okay.
So Ursula and Mark at one point were active witnesses, but Ursula became inactive, stopped going to meetings, and Mark pretty much dropped off the whole radar. And there are allegations of him selling drugs on the side. So they were sitting at the front in the MPG room, sitting as a curved purple sofa. So there were 2 white males, one a more medium-sized guy who I hadn't seen before, that was also there sitting with them. And it was Ursula and her husband and Omar's, alleged, so-called wife. I say so-called wife because she really wanted Prince, but Prince made it very clear he was not interested in her. And then she went after Omar, his half-brother, as a way to get to him, which still didn't work. But anyway, the thing I want to bring up to me is that, and I was sitting there kind of observing their conversation, and one of the security people, Julius, observed, he knows I can pick up stuff pretty easy. So when he noticed that I was noticing them in their conversation, he kind of went over to them and basically told them to leave. You know what I'm saying? But my concern is that Ursula and her husband looked extremely disheveled, very, ungroomed, and that was normally not how he was. And again, like I said, they were. People had told me before that he had been possibly selling drugs.
And so his name would be Mark Love, then, you think?
I believe it is. I believe, like, because even though they were married, they would sometimes be together and not together. So I don't know if Ursula's using her married name or her maiden name.
Okay.
But if you can look her up on Facebook. Let me get her actual spelling. And she, on and off, used to do some work up at Paisley for Prince.
Okay.
But toward the last several months, she hadn't been up there. And Mark, her husband, hadn't been around Paisley for a while, but he has been connected with possibly selling drugs.
Do you know what kind of drugs?
I don't know what kind.
So you don't
because
know? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They were living in the, what is that, Columbine Apartments over there off of the 212 at one point. But I don't know if they were still living there or how long, but I know they were living in that Columbine apartment complex. And he had and the way I found this out was that there was a woman who was, her and her son were studying to be witnesses.
Okay.
And so she confided in me that, and her son was struggling on and off occasionally with drugs. And then she confided in me that Mark, Ursula's husband, had been selling drugs.
Okay.
Now, and then Prince was not on drugs, but I believe how do I say this? Omar's wife may have gotten something from them, how do I say it, to set him up. That's all, but you know what I'm trying to say. Prince was not on drugs.
Right.
But I believe there is a connection there of her possibly getting something from Mark or Ursula. Okay, so that was one piece of it. Then the other thing was maybe about a month later, again, I was up at Paisley, and Omar was trying to come in with his, again, wife, Virginia, and the people that were, the security persons that were standing there talking to, they didn't even know who he was. And they were like, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Oh, that's Prince's, half-brother, Omar, blah, blah, blah." And so then she's like, oh, okay. And so then they let him in. He said, "Okay, thanks, Vera." So then they were in the, sitting in the back area. He was sitting in the back area, again, at a purple round couch area. And he was having, obviously an argument with Virginia, his wife. So he was extremely mad. Something had gone down, and there was an argument going on. Well, then later, I was in the merchandise area getting ready to leave, which was the back where they keep moving the merchandise. But this was in this tented area they had set up for the merchandise area at the time, as you're going out of the back part of Paisley. So when I saw Omar, I said, "Omar, look," I said, "I don't know what's going on and why somebody's not arrested yet. I know Prince is not on drugs, and he was murdered." So then Omar looks at his wife, and then he fingers me to come over, talk to him, probably because he didn't want her to hear. And he says to me, "Yeah, Vera, I know. Don't worry. We're gonna open up what do you call it? A civil wrongful death lawsuit." I said, "If you know who did it, Omar, why don't you say something?" You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was another thing he says to me, again, over about a year ago. And then recently I just saw on the news where they then had said this announcement about the family wanting to do a wrongful death lawsuit. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, he said that over a year ago. Omar Baker said that.
Yep.
So, and in the meantime, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
While I'm listening to you, I found Ursula's information. So,
okay.
She's got a lot of stuff associated with Prince here. I see on her Facebook page and stuff. So.
Right. So it's her and her husband, whose name is Mark. And like I said, I think it may be Love. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So
yeah, and if you look at her LinkedIn thing, she'll put in there that she worked at Paisley, but she was not there in the capacity like she was claiming. Now, she did also do some work after Prince was killed for when they had that 1-year concert thing, and I guess there was a dance all-night thing. She was, I don't know, I guess working temporarily for the company that was involved with promoting that dance all-night thing that they had downtown in Minneapolis that week of the April 21st week period where they were, so somehow she was still doing something for a short period, but after that I didn't see her around Paisley anymore.
Okay. So do you have any information on how to get a hold of them other than the Facebook, or no?
I don't communicate with her directly. I just know of her Facebook page, and if she sees me, she says, hey, that type of thing. And the last place I was aware of her living with her husband was, like I told you, those Columbine apartments off of the 212.
Okay. Well,
in Eden Prairie.
Yep, I can look her up and see what I can find out, so...
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Vera, for calling and giving us this information. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.